he's the apple in the Garden of Eden, Ari. Do you know this story? I don't know. But like he's the temptation, right? He's hanging on the tree. He's like, people are like, don't take him. You don't want him, trust me. Trust me, only bad things are going to come. You don't want to do it. You do not want to do it.
They need to try and trade him to someone.
And then someone comes along and they're like, ooh, fresh red apple. And someone's like, dude, trust me, you don't want to do it. And they're like, some news, folks. Sources have said that Leo Chu is back on the transfer block and FC Dallas are actively shopping him in attempts to get back their U22 spot. Sounds a little familiar, does it not, Ari?
It does, and I would love to clown on him for that, but coming off one of the not good Ferreira games, I feel like I can't.
You know, this is
because like think about if Ferreira was just smashing it up right now, and then they were also trying to offload Leo Chu, who was their biggest return. That would be like you would be able to call it a fleece job for Seattle. But until Seattle gets like their requisite value out of Ferreira, I feel like we can't really do that dunk.
I mean, but still, it's like, dude, we're at least getting a serviceable 5 assists.
Yeah.
Leo Chu has a goal, I think.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like, he hasn't done anything, and this is
it's true. At least Ferreira is
like
something.
Contribution wise, from my source, he barely played. He came into preseason way out of shape, finished last in the beep test, then had a calf injury, never played until the very last preseason game. Didn't play the first 3 games of the season, then was playing like a second striker for 3 games, was terrible, even though he scored once. He's been out since we played you guys with a knee injury, but I don't know if that's a real injury now that I know they're trying to move him. Yeah. But
welcome to the experience in Dallas. Welcome.
Apparently they haven't played him as a winger yet though, which I think is absolutely hilarious.
Jeremy actually had a sick take before he went live, which was he was saying that he was advocating at one point for the Timbers to get Leo Chu because of the stylistic fit, but then also kind of like the bit of
that's a good bit. We were pro Evander.
Like imagine like if you steal your rival's U22 and then it hits after it didn't hit there.
Yeah.
I'd actually, when he first said it, I was like, pretty bad take, but I like the spirit. But then I was like, I'm
pro that because I know he will flop there.
Right. Well, we know that, but at the time that they didn't know.
He is such an interesting character because he is this like he's the apple in the Garden of Eden, Ari. Do you know this story? I don't know. But the snake and the apple
Jews have
and the temptation.
I think the Jews have that one, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just know like colloquially or whatever. Yeah. Do you know this one? But like he's the temptation, right? He's hanging on the tree. He's like, people are like, don't take him. You don't want him. Trust me. Only bad things are going to come. You don't want to do it. You do not want to do it.
They need to try and trade him to someone.
Yeah, and then someone comes along and they're like, ooh, fresh red apple. And someone's like, dude, trust me, you don't want to do it. And they're like, you.
I bet like CF Montreal or something would do it.
Oh, or like San Jose. Do you think San Jose is in?
I could kind of see. I was thinking one of the things about the Timby's take is I was like, doesn't he kind of seem like a Timby?
He does. He
kind of strikes me as a Timber.
Kind of lazy. Doesn't want to play.
But then randomly busts out with like incredible assists. Sometimes, you know,
like bangers only. One game he'll have 5 goal contributions and then do nothing the rest
for
of the
like
season.
3 months. Yeah,
I think.
But a Quake.
Timber.
Any team that plays like kind of like energy drink counterattack, like I could see him as like a Red Bull too, maybe.
Yeah. What's another one? I feel like he could go. You know where I want to see him, and this is crazy. I want to see him on the Crew.
I mean, if anyone can get 15 plus goal contributions out of Leo Chu, it's Wilfred Nancy.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't matter who you put in that guy's lineup.
Or Vancouver.
Well, yeah, that's the other. That's like the new. He's like what's the like Wired expired? Like Wilfred Nancy
like
is
Wired,
expired, and Jesper Sorensen is Wired.
Yeah, he's the. But yeah, Leo Chu is. I don't know, man. It was so funny when the Sounders had him. They wanted to unload him so bad, but they kept getting offers where they would basically lose money on the deal, where they would have like had to just hedge and lose money, but they didn't want to do it. And now, like, do you feel like that was bad? Like, do you feel like they should have just sold him, or do you think that like the deal with Dallas, it ended up working out as a chip, especially because he's flopping?
I think it ended up working out. I mean, I think it depends on how the Ferreira stuff ends up going. If Ferreira ends up being like a total flop, bust of a signing, then you could say, damn, they just should have done it. They should have handled that differently. They should have sold him on earlier and then could have avoided a lot of stuff. But like, I mean, you remember how hyped we were when we saw that Craig Wives had finessed Jesus Ferreira on this team with Leo Chu as the big
bro, they got him off the books.
Like
crazy.
They literally would have done that for no return at that point.
Well, that's the thing. His salary was so high too for what he was doing. He was a U22 spot. Like, it was all of this stuff. And now I was so shocked that Dallas took that deal because they're notable for they're the 5 U22 style team, right? Like they
developed their own U22.
Yeah, I was like, bro, what are you doing with this? What are you doing with this guy? Like, what's up?
Well, I think for them, they were really looking to move Ferreira.
Yeah.
And I think they were in a situation where
we needed cap space.
That was more important than it's like, we'll take a flyer on this U22 that didn't fully hit, but looked okay at times. Maybe a change of scenery can unlock them. I don't think it was like a horrible gamble from their perspective. I think it seems worse because of how much Leo Chu we watched.
Right.
We probably watched more than their scouts did.
Yeah, 100%. They're like, oh, this guy, you need him to be off your books for us to get rid of Jesus Ferreira? Well, boss says we got to do it, so sure, buddy.
So
welcome to the team.
That's probably more what the situation was. But.
Yeah. Well, we wish you well, Leo Chu. Mr. Chu? I mean, I don't know. Like, what do you think he goes to Brazil? Like, where do you think that's?
I mean, that's what people are always saying is going to happen, and then it hasn't yet. So I'm not sure how much of that is like real interest, and how much of that is his agent being like, "Be careful because all of Brazil is going to pay a bag for him."